2 days ago, we arrived in one of the most beautiful places on Earth, the Lofoten Islands in Norway, 120 miles north of the Arctic Circle. This was now part 2 of our amazing trip. Today was day 3, and our goal for the day was to get to the last town at the most western side of the islands, which was the town of N, where the road actually ended, and then to work our way back to the halfway point between there and Henningsvær. Our drive started with a bit of a sheep jam, with some sheep that were wandering into the road, causing all the cars to have to stop. But from there, we were smooth sailing. Our route was different than the day before, with us driving through more of the center of the islands. Along the way, of course, we had to stop at some scenic views. The most scenic being this incredible valley. And with no cars coming down the street, of course, I had to dance down the open road of this majestic place. The tranquil fishing village of Nusfjord was our first locational stop, starting this third day in the Lofoten Islands. And it was definitely different from the other towns we had seen thus far.
We've stopped at Nusfjord right now. It's amazing. Wait till you see it. We're just gonna use the bathroom, go to the cafe here, maybe get some coffee, but take some pictures and shoot some video because oh my goodness.
Traces of people in Nusfjord date all the way back to 425 BC. In the early 20th century, Nusfjord was home to more than 1,500 fishermen and over 350 boats filling its tiny harbor. 50 years ago, business was booming when the codfish would come for spawning. Today, this tiny, and I mean tiny, fishing village was more of a museum than a village, with less than 100 people living there, and you actually had to pay a fee to get into it. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
So to come inside the Nusfjord, you do have to pay a fee. It was $10 American to come in per person. So we wanted to check it out. We did obviously pay the fee, but oops, as I just trip and fall. But just the FYI.
The fee for just entering and visiting the tiny fishing hamlet was 100 Norwegian krones, or $10 USD. It's cute, but really not much to see. I really just wanted to go to the bakery, but that was inside, so we had to pay. Inside the bakery, it was family owned, and we had traditional school bread that was flavored with fresh rhubarb jam, also made by the owners, as well as we had to taste the famous cinnamon buns, a Lofoten Island specialty. The ticket gives you access to the fishing harbor, a blacksmith's workshop, the boathouses, the bakery, a traditional house in its original decor, and a few other places. I can't say that it was worth the price or the visit, but it is scenic and we captured some pretty footage. we headed for the end of the island to the town of N. When we arrived in N, the weather had turned really ugly. It was dark, rainy, cold, and so windy.
So we have finally made it to A or O or U, however you pronounce it in Norwegian. And yes, the birds are squawking. It's mating season apparently, and they are so loud right now. But so A is actually, it's the last letter in the Norwegian alphabet. It's also the only city that only has one letter in it in the world. So we've made it. It's the last place. It's where the road stops in Lofoten. So this is the very end. So excited to be here.
You have to, of course, take a picture with the N sign, being the town with the fewest letters in the world. I realized again, according to Google Translate, that I had yet to get the name of this tiny town right, and that it was N. Even though I couldn't get the name right, I was excited to take my picture with the sign. Since the weather was so cold and ugly, we decided to go and eat at Brygga Restaurant, which I had flagged prior to our arrival. I had the fish soup and Manny had some local fish. It was nice to have something warm. It was really good. We walked through the town a bit more and got back in the car to follow the road back and stop at some other towns on my list. We followed the main road until it took us to Rørvika. Now, Rørvika is another major town in the Lofoten Islands. I realized after checking it with Google Translation, like my other Norwegian towns, I was saying this wrong as well. It wasn't Rørvika, it was Rørvika.
We're now in Rørvika and we're just snapping some pictures. The weather has gotten kind of dark and it's pretty cold for summer for us. But it's a really, really beautiful town. If you come to Lofoten, you definitely have to stay in Rørvika. It's very, very, very picturesque.
I so wish that we had some nice weather and could have flown the drone because it resembles Henningsvær a bit, with all of its islands and bridges while surrounded by intimidating mountains. It's truly stunning. We stopped for gas in Rørvika and checked out some of the local shops. The weather was just terrible though. The skies were dark, it was raining, and just so windy. And I was disappointed because I knew that this town was a true beauty and I really wanted to capture it. But the wind was like tropical storm conditions at times. It was hard to just take regular video or pictures, so we definitely couldn't fly the drone. From there, we continued our drive and stopped next in Hamnøy, another truly scenic fishing town. But we only stopped for a few minutes to take some pictures and video just due to the weather. But again, a place one should definitely stop because it is truly stunning.
This is Hanoi, another really super cute fishing town. You can hear the birds squawking in the background. And I have to keep my sunglasses on because the wind is making my eyes tear really bad.
We continued driving from there and stopped at Fred Von Skriset for some pictures, and then Ramberg, or Rambergstranda. Just like the rest of the Norwegian words that I was mispronouncing. I kept saying strata like in German, but it's stranda in Norwegian. Another stunning beach, and even in the grayest skies and windiest conditions, the turquoise-colored waters called to you. We're at Ramberg Strata, the beach. It's kind of raining, really windy as you can hear, and just stopping to take a couple pics and a little video. After that, we headed back to Henningsvaer in hopes that the weather would finally clear up. The next day, which was day 4 of our trip in the Lofoten Islands, we decided to spend much of the day in Henningsvaer to capture it and really have a look around the town. The weather was nice and sunny again, which was great because it was also Manny's birthday, and I was glad it was going to make for a nice day. At times, it felt really warm in the sunshine, and I was excited to really check out this picturesque town that we were staying in because we hadn't really had a true look around yet. We started early because Henningsvaer gets quite busy with tourists. One of the biggest attractions on Henningsvaer Islands is the soccer field, located at the end of the islands. It's such a magnificent sight, and truly magnificent when seen from above.
Good morning. So we have come out early today. We're actually still in Henningsvaer. I didn't even put makeup on. We just ran out the door because, as you can see, the weather is really great. So we are after this, which is a soccer stadium. It actually is basically on just one part of the island by itself, but it really looks like it's on its own island. So we really want to capture it, but the skies are amazing and I don't think they're going to stay that way. So we're trying to capture all that we can as quickly as we can right now.
Teach my soul to sing your song, even when my eyes can't see. When I can't seem to carry on, I know your hand is guiding me. I know your hand is guiding me. Through the valley I may walk, but you are all I'll ever need. Gave your life to take my fall.
It's so quiet and peaceful, so nice. Just the clean air, a bit of a breeze. I did catch a little bit of a cold yesterday in the wet weather, so I'm taking some throat lozenges. I'm a little sniffly, and lots of Vaseline because in Europe their tissues are not so soft for you, so my poor nose is a bit cut up. So if you're looking at me wondering why I look like a little bit of a grease ball, that would be why. But thank God they have Vaseline here in Europe.
And when it seems I'm at the end and I don't know what I believe, through the cloud I see your hand.
This site right here is probably Henningsvaer's most popular site to visit. Obviously, having a soccer stadium field on an island, everyone wants to capture it. So it does get pretty busy. So it's actually really great that we came first thing in the morning, and obviously the lighting is really good right now. So it's really, really helpful.
After that, we got in the car and started to drive through Henningsvaer. In Henningsvaer, you just want to stop every few feet to try to capture this incredible scenery. The rock and mountain formations are just stunning. We pulled off on the side of the road and climbed some rocks to take some pictures, fly the drone, and get some video. And then drove over towards the beach, which you see upon first entering Henningsvaer. The name of the beach there is Rørvika, or Rørvikstranda. The beach is this tiny but stunning beach that is more of a beach during low tide than high, but it's also a camping area. It does get quite crowded and parking is very limited. The sand is again this powder and the water is this clear aqua and turquoise color. You do have to go over a challenging path and climb some rocks to get over to the actual sand and beach area, but nevertheless, just like the rest of Henningsvaer, it is just beautiful. After that, we headed over towards the Joker grocery store and we walked into town. Once in the main area of Henningsvaer, it's quite walkable, but it is a good distance from the main island and roads of the Lofoten Islands, partially because of the one-way streets and bridges just to get to the center of Henningsvaer. The town is so super cute. It has a Joker supermarket, galleries, photography stores, jewelry and clothing shops, home goods, a few quirky bars, trendy cafes, restaurants, as well as some grab-and-go stores. It even has places that offer excursions such as kayak, boat, and fishing tours. We poked into the stores for a quick look before venturing over the bridge around the inlet to the other side parallel to where we started, to the front side of some of the buildings that backed up to the street that our Airbnb was on. There were a few hotels there and restaurants with pretty views of the crystal clear inlet water. Since it was a nice day, people were enjoying sitting outside, eating and drinking in the warm sunshine. On the way back, I stopped and got some ice cream. It was rolled in salted caramel, and the ice cream was real cream. Definitely a good treat.
Just because I had to try their ice cream. It's actually soft. Ice cream is very much like cream, and it's got caramel, salt caramel on it. So we'll see how it is. I'm sure it's not bad.
From there, we decided to go visit another location and drove over north of us to Henningsvær and had a look around the island. It was literally at times just us and nature. We stopped at a pretty little beach that also had campers in it and picnic tables set up, as well as there was this tube-looking structure near the parking area that was actually a sauna. And we saw people taking advantage of it before a dip in the water on this nice day. After that, we just drove and went where the road led us.
I wanna keep you in an honest place, 'cause you've been hiding for 1,000 days. Lower level in your parents' place with your head held down. I remember when you held the magic. Now you're acting like you never had it. Get in the car, man, it's too damn tragic to let you drown. Here now, turn it around. Gotta love it or let it go. With our eyes closed and some wings to fly, singing oh, oh. Why'd you go and never ask me to stay? Why you push the ones who love you away? Don't close the curtain on a brighter day when history could repeat it. Now it's time to get a little higher. When God made you, He made a fighter. You just spent a little more time feeling lost than found. Here now, turn it around. Gotta love it or let it go. With our eyes closed and some wings to fly, singing oh, 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 oh. Right now, in the sound of a song from long ago.
We headed back to Henningsvaer for dinner since it was Manny's birthday. I definitely wanted to go out and celebrate him. We ate at Fiskekrogen Henningsvaer. It was a seafood restaurant, and we both had the cod and beet risotto. Dinner was delicious, and since it was a nice night and the light was perfect, we walked around to capture more of Henningsvaer before heading back to our Airbnb to start packing up, because the next day we would be heading back to Oslo. The next day, I walked around Henningsvaer for one last look because I just couldn't get enough of this beautiful place before we said goodbye and headed back to Svolvær to return our rental car and head to the airport. This trip was a major bucket list check-off for me, and I highly recommend it for anyone who is truly looking for an incredible Norwegian adventure. The Lofoten Islands were one of the most picturesque and spectacular places that I have ever visited. I definitely look forward to our next adventure, but this one was one that's going to be hard to top. See you next time.